You know, sometimes I'm just wondering what will it be like for us to all be able to travel again. As much as how beautiful Hong Kong is, I still miss the trips that I went in 2019 in Spain. So today we're just going to travel back in time, go back to my memory in Spain and see how did it change my life. Let's go. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Lydia. So if you're new to this channel, in this channel I just usually share how I changed my lifestyle in the past 2 years by building up a healthy routine, the fun things happen in Hong Kong, the cafes that I enjoy to go to, and the restaurants that I like. So in today's video, I'm just going to talk about my solo trip back in 2019 to Spain. I spent 14 days there. It's really a lovely memory for myself and it's a life-changing experience. I want to share this experience with you and also allow myself to stay in the memory. After all, nobody can really freely travel for the whole COVID period. Just allow ourselves to also dive into the memories of our own lovely trips, and hopefully it will be a fun video for you to watch. So why did I do this solo trip? True reason. Okay, there was nobody really have the time, or the timing is just not matched. That's why I couldn't find any of my friends to go with me. Later I found out it's truly a blessing that I did that for myself before the age of 30. That was the year when I was 29. I just really want to do something that I haven't done in the past. I know at the age of 29 to do the first solo trip is not the most adventurous story that you have heard, but that's just my story. I feel like it's something that have changed me. I'm just gonna share with you today. Spain is somewhere in Europe that I'm always interested in paying a visit to. I feel like if you think about Europe, Spain is one of those countries that the people are super welcoming. I just booked a ticket from Hong Kong to Madrid and from Barcelona back to Hong Kong. I end up visiting 3 cities and 2 smaller old towns, and I spent 14 days in Spain all by myself. Full disclosure, I don't speak Spanish. I didn't know anybody in Spain, so it's a real solo trip. But of course, when you're 29, the solo trip will be very, very different from when you're all hitchhiking when you just graduated from high school. My first stop is Madrid. Funny thing is, when I was just about to land Madrid, my phone just somehow, for some reason, I broke my SIM card. I spent the first day in how I should fix my SIM card. The first place I visit in Madrid is the Apple store. Can you believe that? I didn't know why I did that thing. So I was accidentally scratched the SIM card holder, so I couldn't use any of the data. And because I was doing this solo trip, so I couldn't just spend the day without a phone. Luckily, at the end of the day, I got fixed. That's my first day in Madrid, like really. The rest of the time went pretty well. The people in the hotel and also the people that I talked to show me around a lot of places. One of my favorite places is La Latina. It's one of the oldest districts in Madrid. That was the place that you're going to see a lot of fun things happening. So there are a lot of restaurants that you can visit. Every single restaurant has their famous tapas. When you're visiting Spain at the end of summer, it's very strange because most of the people are out of town, but it's also one of the lucky things. I don't really need to compete with other tourists. So that's Madrid. I also visit one of the older towns near Madrid called Segovia. It's just a one-day trip. There are thousands of years history. So many things that you can visit in Segovia. That's just a one-day trip. And then I went back to Madrid. Madrid, I will just summarize it as 1 palace, 3 museums, several very good restaurants. One thing that I really recommend is the palace. Before I really enter into the palace, I didn't know that, well, I didn't know that much about European history for starters, but I didn't know that Spain is so rich, right? Like, I just couldn't imagine. So it's a really fun experience that you should have. After Madrid, I took a train to Seville. Seville is very, very different from Madrid. It's one of the oldest cities in Spain, and it kept street culture very well. You see 3 different kinds of mixture of, I think it's Christian, what else? Christian, Christian, Muslim. Anyways, I think it's Christian, Muslim, and another one. I don't remember, but it's just, it kept so well. If you have been to Kyoto in Japan, it's almost like when you walked into Kyoto, you felt like it's 2,000 years ago. It's the same feeling when you walked into Seville. Everything is so tranquil. Like, it's still a very vivid and energetic city, but you will feel the history. And then you feel that people are generally more laid back compared to Madrid. Seville is really my favorite in Spain. If my friends in Seville are watching this video, say hi to you. So after Seville, I went to Barcelona. People would be familiar with Barcelona for the reason that it's so famous for its Gaudi's heritage. It almost feels like it's a city for Gaudi. Everywhere you go, every place you visit has something to do with Gaudi. Gaudi is just a genius. The buildings he built sometimes feels like an aquarium. Like the Casa Bayal is my favorite. The second you walk into it, it's like the design, the curves, and the color it used, it's just like below the sea. Casa Mila is the famous one that you see a lot of warriors on top of the roof. That's very nice as well. Last but not the least, of course, is the church. Yes, and last but not the least is the Sagrada Familia. That's the most famous church in the world, I think. Before I visit Spain and before I actually walk into Sagrada Familia, I didn't really have that much of high expectation because I've seen the photos, I've seen people are so crazy about it. I just didn't feel like the photos are not like the best thing I've seen in my life. Great. But the second I walk into Sagrada Familia, I feel like it just should be the church for everywhere. The second I walk into it, it feels like there's somebody who's talking to you through the church. The lighting and the design, it almost feels like it connects the heaven to the earth. So I didn't expect I will visit that place, and because I was not so well planned, I didn't even purchase the ticket before I arrived in Barcelona. But after I talked to somebody locally in Barcelona, he's like, you have to visit it. So I got the ticket the day before I left Barcelona. How lucky I am. So if you're going to visit Barcelona, make sure you get the tickets. It's not the same from outside and if you actually have the whole experience inside. If you don't do anything else in Barcelona, visit the Sagrada Familia. You won't regret it. My impression of, first of all, Spain is somewhere that beyond expectation. I feel like people there are just so nice and so welcoming. Even if I'm not from there, even if sometimes they don't understand English, they will just try to offer help as much as they can. I remember very vividly when I was visiting one of the old towns, the taxi driver don't understand English, but he's just trying to so passionately tell me a fact about the aqueduct, the thousands of years of aqueduct. Even though we couldn't communicate, but I can still feel the genuine help that he want to offer. So that's the first impression. The second is, if you haven't visited Europe, maybe you should visit Spain first. It's a relatively easy to get around country. You have trains everywhere, and then people are super welcoming. I feel like the whole experience just changed my perception about how I should travel in the future. Solo trip is great. It's not something I would recommend everybody to do unless you have prepared that you will experience something that unexpected to happen and you trust yourself that you can solve it at the end. Make sure that you're going to travel to somewhere that you think is safe. To prepare for the trip, say for example, every single time when I arrive at a city, I will join a walking tour. So that's the best way for you to get to know a city because they're going to take you to the famous place in the city and then they're going to tell you what's happening in this building. And the other thing is I always know some places that's like public and safe to stay around, like some famous coffee shops, or there'll be Starbucks or somewhere that you can buy, I don't know, SIM cards, right? Those are the places that, touch wood, you encounter something that's not very safe, you can always go. I think the best part about solo trip is you couldn't blame anybody else for your misarrangement because you're just by yourself. It'll release me from always having to plan something so perfectly because most of the time, no matter how you plan, there will be something that's unexpected. The solo trip completely changed my perception about how I should plan my trips or my days. I will have something that I want to do, say for example, on the day I want to visit Casa Bayal, and that was the thing that once I did it, I feel happy, and anything else that would be a bonus and that would be a plus. The other thing about solo trip is it completely changed the way I interact with the world. I wouldn't be shy about talking to other people in the future. There was one time I was sitting at this cafe after the gym in the morning. I just start talking to the people sitting right next to me. I'm not recommending everybody to talk to strangers. You have to make sure that the people are generally a good person to talk to. I discovered so much. He told me that you actually have to visit Sagrada Sagrada Familia, and he told me that he's a musician, but he is a nomad programmer. His life is very flexible. That's one good thing about being on a solo trip, because you actually are released from your normal way of having a trip. You actually have more touch points in the world that you can talk to other people in a way that you never will have. Why did I say this is a life-changing experience for myself? I chose to visit Spain right before my 30th birthday, with the perception that, a lot of people think that once you hit certain age, if you haven't done so and so, maybe if you're not successful in your life, especially in Asia, we have this perception you have to get married at a certain age, you have to make so much money at a certain age. Just because I was able to travel to Spain all by myself for 14 days without anybody in my original culture to talk to me, and let myself 100% immerse in that so laid-back Spain culture. And I hear it over and over again from day 1 to day 14. It's okay, like it doesn't matter what age you are, as long as you live to your fullest life, and as long as you are still learning, you're still growing. They gave me a lot of confidence. The people there generally doesn't think age is a thing. They doesn't think marriage is something that you actually have to go after. It just happens organically in your life. If it happens, it happens. The most important thing is you enjoy every day. This is something that I wouldn't get if I didn't travel to that place. The second thing that totally changed my life is I completely changed my way of looking at planning things. In the past, I was so uptight. Whenever I travel, I have to have a whole itinerary every day. When do we wake up? What type of transportations we take, and which do we go? And most of the time, it ends up me being very tiring at the end. Travel solo and let myself face all those uncertainties, all those, I would say, miracles. I got to talk to so many different people from different countries. I realized that, yes, you should plan, but it's not like if you don't plan, it wouldn't go well. And most of the time, you should trust yourself. At the end of the day, things mostly will go well for you. The last part is I completely opened my eyes to the whole world. I realized that how big it is and how blindsided I was in the past to think that there is only one way of living. I got to talk to, I think she's around 20 years old. She's just traveling by herself in Madrid. I got to talk to her because she sat right next to me at a churro shop. That's like one of the oldest. And then I was like, I want to talk to this girl, so I was talking to her. And then we got to visit one of the museums together. We still keep in touch. I don't know whether she will watch this video. Hopefully you're great in Germany. I talk to people from other countries, and then we share a meal together. One thing I missed the most before COVID, so easy to make connections. I am hopeful after COVID is even easier, because nowadays we all have the same experience. We should have more sympathy to each other, and it's easier for us to open any kind of topic after COVID. After talking about so much about Spain, I really want to go back to travel again. Thanks for watching this video, and if you like this video, please subscribe to the channel and give me a thumbs up. And also you can follow me on Instagram. I will share a lot more about Hong Kong on my Instagram. I'll see you next time. Bye.